All right, hey everyone, let's jump right in. So it sounds like you're thinking about buying a used car.
Always an adventure, right?
Yeah. And this time, it looks like Drive over in Leachville, Arkansas is on your radar.
Hmm, interesting choice.
So today, we're going to take a deep dive into Drive and try to figure out, are they the right dealership for you?
Exactly. We're going way beyond the basic info.
Like way beyond. We've dug up reviews, their website, even some history on the dealership itself.
A whole treasure trove of details.
Okay, so first things first, Drive is family owned and operated.
Ah, now that always makes me curious.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it just kind of makes you wonder if they do things a little differently, that personal touch.
It really makes you think about their priorities.
Yeah.
Family-owned businesses. They often really care about their reputation.
Right.
And building those solid long-term relationships with customers, it's
Yeah.
almost like they have more to lose.
Yeah, exactly. Like their name is on the line, literally. So that could be a big deal for you. Especially if you're someone who really values trust and feeling like you're not just another number.
Couldn't agree more.
Now, here's where things get really interesting. Drive specializes in used vehicles,
Okay.
and they seem to have a real soft spot for American-made cars.
Oh. See, that's not something you see every day.
Yeah.
Most dealerships, they try to be everything to everyone.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, this is what we know, this is what we love, come to us for this specific thing.
Exactly. And it kind of makes you think, they must have a pretty deep knowledge of these vehicles.
Right.
I mean, think about it. If you're looking for a used, say, Chevy Silverado
Oh, yeah.
or a Ford F-150, wouldn't you feel more confident going to someone who really knows those trucks inside and out?
Totally.
It's like you wouldn't go to a foot doctor if you had a problem with your heart, right?
Makes sense.
You'd want a specialist. And Drive, they seem to be positioning themselves as those specialists for used American vehicles.
And it's not just cars either. They've got trucks, SUVs, a pretty wide range, actually.
It is a pretty good mix, isn't it?
Like they're trying to have something for everyone, but with that American car focus.
Exactly. So they're not trying to be all things to all people, but they are recognizing that, hey, people who love American cars, they might need different types of vehicles at different times in their lives.
Okay, let's get down to brass tacks.
Sure.
Affordability. Drive has vehicles starting around $2,750.
That's not bad at all, especially for someone looking for a reliable ride without spending a fortune.
But here's what really caught my eye. They offer free Carfax reports for every single vehicle.
Oh, wow. Now that's a big deal.
Right. I mean, a lot of dealerships, they charge for those reports, or they try to bury them in the fine print.
Exactly. So this tells me they're all about transparency. Like,
Yep.
they want you to know exactly what you're getting.
Right. No hidden surprises.
Yeah.
And that builds trust right from the start.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It shows they're not afraid to let you see the vehicle's history. And for you as a buyer, that can save you from a lot of potential headaches down the road.
Now let's talk about something else that builds trust. Online reviews. And Drive's reviews are, well, they're pretty glowing. People are raving about their professionalism, how easy the buying process is, how they really go the extra mile for their customers.
I saw that. It's like everyone's talking about this hassle-free experience.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what you want when you're buying a car, right? You don't want to be stressed out and haggling for hours.
No one wants that. But remember, even with great reviews, it's always smart to do your own digging. Like, what would you ask them based on those reviews to really get a feel for what to expect?
Ooh, that's a good point.
Like maybe you're curious about their financing options or how they handle trade-ins. Those reviews could be a great springboard, but they don't tell the whole story.
Right. You got to think critically, right?
Yeah, exactly. Remember, everyone's different. What one person finds awesome, another might find annoying. It's all about finding a dealership that aligns with your needs and priorities.
Okay, so digging into the details a bit more, they mentioned some specific brands. Chevrolet, Ford, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep.
Ah, the American classics.
Exactly. So if you're looking for one of those brands, Drive might be worth checking out.
Absolutely. But even with those brands in mind, remember, it's always best to check their website for their current inventory.
Right. Because what they have on the lot today might be totally different tomorrow.
Exactly. Their website, https://www.gotodrive1.com, https://www.gotodrive1.com, is going to be your best bet for seeing what they have in stock right now. Don't miss out on that hidden gem just because you didn't look.
And speaking of online presence, they seem to be pretty active on social media, too.
That's always a good sign.
It is. To me, it kind of shows they're engaged with the community. And maybe even more responsive to customer inquiries.
I agree. It's like a window into their customer service style. Like, are they showcasing customer testimonials, sharing helpful car tips, maybe even running fun contests?
Right. All those little things add up. You start to get a sense of who they are and what they value. All right. If you're thinking about checking them out in person, Drive is located at 5122 Highway 18 West in Leachville, Arkansas.
Okay, got it.
And their phone number is 870-539-1029.
So before you hop in the car and head over there, maybe pull up a map and see how far it is.
Uh,
I mean, sometimes it's easy to get excited about a dealership, but then you realize it's a 2-hour drive.
True. Or it's tucked away in some hard-to-find location. You got to think about the practical stuff, too, right?
Absolutely. Like, how easy is it to get there? Is there parking? Think long-term, too. If you end up buying from them, you might need to go back for service or repairs.
Right. All good things to consider. So we're starting to get a pretty good sense of Drive's personality, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Family-owned, passionate about used American cars. And they seem pretty dedicated to transparency and customer satisfaction.
Agreed. But it's always smart to look at both sides of the coin. So are there any potential drawbacks? Things our listeners should be aware of before heading to Leachville?
That's a great question. And that's what we're going to dive into next.
Well, you know, as much as we love their specialization in those used American cars,
Yeah.
that could also be a bit of a, well, a limitation for some folks.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, think about it. If you're looking for a specific foreign car,
Right?
or maybe a brand new model with all the latest gadgets and gizmos,
Yeah.
Drive might not be the place for you.
I see what you mean. Like if you're looking for that cutting-edge tech or something super specific,
Exactly.
Drive might not have it.
It's like going to that amazing vintage bookstore, you know, the one.
Oh, yeah, I love those.
They might have a treasure trove of first editions,
So cool.
but you're probably not going to find the latest bestseller there.
True.
And remember, Drive, they're smaller, right? A family-owned dealership, not one of those sprawling mega dealerships. So they might not have the same volume of inventory,
So maybe a bit less to choose from.
possibly. And they might not have the same buying power as those big guys.
I hadn't thought about that.
So that could mean, you know, potentially less wiggle room on the price.
Okay, that makes sense. Less volume, maybe less room to negotiate.
It's worth thinking about. But, you know, on the flip side of that,
Yeah.
you might get a more personalized experience at a place like Drive.
Oh, that's a good point. So it's kind of a trade-off.
Right. They might be more willing to actually spend time with you,
Right.
answer your questions, really go the extra mile.
To ensure you're happy.
Exactly. Sometimes that personal touch, that could be worth more than saving a few $100 on the sticker price.
It really depends on what you value as a buyer.
Absolutely. Like, some people, they just want the biggest selection possible, bottom line.
Right. They just want to get in and out.
Exactly. But others, they really value that one-on-one connection, that feeling like they're not just a transaction.
Yeah, like they're working with someone they can trust.
Exactly. Now, remember all those positive reviews we talked about?
Oh, yeah, they were glowing.
Fantastic. But let's play devil's advocate for a minute.
Okay.
What should our listeners be looking for when they're reading those reviews? How can they make sure they're getting a balanced perspective?
Oh, that's such a good point. It's easy to get caught up in a sea of 5-star reviews.
Right. So one thing to watch out for are those patterns. Are there common themes, you know, specific things that a lot of reviewers mention?
Oh, I see what you mean. Like, do they all talk about how friendly the sales team is or how they felt no pressure to buy?
Exactly. If you see that consistency, it can be a good indicator of what to expect. But on the flip side,
Yeah.
are there any red flags that keep popping up?
Like maybe people complaining about hidden fees.
Right. Or feeling pressured or having trouble getting issues resolved after they bought the car.
Oh, those are definitely things to pay attention to. But remember, reviews, they're subjective, right? What one person loves, another person might hate. It's about finding that dealership that matches your own expectations.
Think of it like reading restaurant reviews.
Oh, yeah. Good analogy.
One person's 5-star dining experience could be another person's culinary nightmare.
Totally. So you're saying take those reviews with a grain of salt.
Exactly. Look for a balance.
Yeah.
You know, don't be afraid to trust your gut instinct, too. If something feels off, it probably is.
All right, let's talk about their website and social media again. What should our listeners be looking for on Drive's website?
Okay, so their website, good place to start. It's https://www.gotodrive1.com. https://www.gotodrive1.com, by the way, in case you missed it.
Right. And their social media, what should people be checking out there?
Well, look at how they present themselves online. On their website, is it sleek and modern or more down-to-earth and friendly?
I like that. It's like checking out their online storefront.
Exactly. Do they make it easy to browse their inventory? Can you find their contact info easily? Do they explain their services clearly?
And social media, that's almost like a personality test for the dealership.
I love that. Are they approachable and authentic? Or maybe a bit more buttoned up in corporate?
Yeah, and it's not just about what they're posting, it's
Yeah.
how they're engaging too.
Absolutely. Are they responding to comments and messages? Are they actually using social media to build relationships with their customers?
That responsiveness, to me, that's a good sign that they care about customer service.
Couldn't agree more.
Hmm.
It shows they're listening and they're willing to engage with people.
All right, so for anyone who wants to check them out in person, Drive is located at 5122 Highway 18 West in Leachville, Arkansas. Their number is 870-539-1029.
Got it. So location, 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 right?
Marvelous. But think beyond just mapping it out. How easy is it to actually get there?
Yeah, good point.
Is there plenty of parking? What are their service hours like? You might need to go back for maintenance or repairs, so you want to make sure it's convenient.
Right. You got to think long term. And don't be shy about reaching out to them directly. Give them a call, shoot them an email, or message them on social media. See how they respond.
That first interaction can tell you a lot, right?
Absolutely. It's your chance to ask those burning questions, get a feel for their communication style,
Yeah.
and see if they genuinely want to help you find the right vehicle.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground here. I think we've given our listeners a pretty good roadmap for figuring out this whole used car dealership world.
I hope so,
Oh.
especially when it comes to Drive and their unique approach.
So any final words of wisdom?
Be an informed buyer. Don't rush into anything. Take your time. Do your research.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Exactly. Remember, you're the one in control here.
That's such good advice. And when it comes to Drive, it seems like they're really catering to a specific type of car buyer.
What do you mean?
Well, they're all about those American-made vehicles. They value transparency and honesty.
Right.
And they seem to prefer that more personalized, low-pressure buying experience.
So the question is, does that sound like you?
That's the question, isn't it? It really makes you think about what kind of experience you want when you buy a car. Do you just want to get in and out? Or do you want to spend some time, finding that perfect ride and maybe even building a relationship with the dealership?
I think Drive is all about that relationship. It's like a more personalized, maybe even a little old-fashioned car buying experience.
Like a throwback, huh?
Yeah, like it's stepping back in time to when things were a little simpler, when relationships mattered more than just making a sale.
I love that. It really is refreshing, especially these days when everything feels so rushed and everyone just wants to make a quick buck.
But even if that sounds appealing to you, it's still important to be realistic. Remember those potential downsides we talked about?
Right, like the limited inventory and maybe less wiggle room on the price.
Yeah, those things might not be deal breakers for you, but it's good to know about them up front.
Set those expectations.
Exactly.
So if you're going to Drive expecting to find a brand new Tesla for a steal, you're probably going to be disappointed.
Probably.
But if you're looking for a good, solid, used American car and you value honesty, transparency, and that personal touch, well, Drive might just be the perfect fit.
Couldn't have said it better myself. The decision is ultimately yours, but I hope this deep dive has given you the info you need to make a confident choice.
I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about. Buying a car, it's a big decision, so don't rush it, trust your gut, and don't settle.
Oh, hey, if Drive turns out to be the right fit, well, happy car hunting. We hope you find a car you love.
Happy car hunting, everyone. Good luck finding that perfect vehicle, that one that speaks to your heart and fits your lifestyle. And remember, the journey is just as important as the destination, so enjoy the ride.